the psychoneurosis that we suffer. No, we have no idea the condition that we're in, the psychoneurosis that we suffer. We suffer a terrible, terrible blight. We don't know who we are. We use European names, and we just are comfortable with our condition. We really don't know who we are. We have no idea. We're captive, and we absolutely comfortable with this situation.
Shalom. I want to begin a lesson off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double blessings and honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth through the spirit of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And today I just want to talk a little bit about the video we just saw. Typically I like to stay talking about stuff like in the news and whatnot, but I just saw this video and Spirit was on me to just talk about it, bring out some scriptures to uplift our people. So I'm going to get those, and Lord willing, it'll be edifying to you. Matter of fact, let me get... Isaiah chapter 1, verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth. For Yahweh hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken Yahweh, they have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. Now, that's just a verse I want to pull up just regarding what the lady said. We don't know who we are. The 2/3 or the hopeful elect who still hasn't woken up, because the hopeful elect, the 1/3 and the 144,000 is still being sealed in the spiritual ark. They don't know who they are, and it was made like that because, like I said, we rebelled against Yahweh. And I'll say this: when we were at camp yesterday, there was a guy who came up. He was smoking a cigarette, a typical Jake, a typical nigga, and he kept on trying to interrupt the elder brothers and whatnot, talking nonsense, never wanting to hear nothing. They always want to try and tell you something, but they don't want to listen. They don't want to hear that we have better and greater things coming in the next chapter of our lives. It's too hard for them to fathom or realize that we're more than just what Esau makes us to be. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 7. For the vineyard of Yahweh of hosts is the house of Israel. For the vineyard of Yahweh of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. So let me read that in the NLT. The nation of Israel is the vineyard of Yahweh of heaven's armies. The people of Judah are his pleasant garden. He expected a crop of justice, but instead he found oppression. He expected to find righteousness, but instead he heard cries of violence. So when you think about the nations on earth, we typically are the most violent, the most rebellious, do the most wickedness and whatnot. And this is all of the things that go on in the world now is already been spoken of in the scriptures. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So that's touching up on, I believe is it second Ezra's? No. Where in the Apocrypha it says Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. I can't remember exactly where the precept is, but I will find it in a second. But let me read this again. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. That also is hidden on what goes around comes around too, because they once had us in captivity, literal captivity, like physical, as in slavery, in bondage. We had yokes of iron on our neck, physically, but spiritually we still have those yokes of iron on our neck because we're still in captivity. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So that sounds a lot like the nation of Israel, which is the Negroes, natives, and Latinos. We've been oppressed for hundreds of years. We've been oppressed. And we can bring this up. Actually, let me get, I said I was going to get the Apocrypha first, Salakia. I knew it was 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and 9. I shouldn't have doubted myself. Salakia. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So the Edomites, are the end of the world, the so-called white man. And we are the beginning of it that followeth. Which is the kingdom which we shall inherit to our forefathers. Through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Let me go back and see. I was gonna pull up. Here it is. I found it. Psalm chapter 37, verse 12, which is tying into what I just read in Isaiah chapter 14. The wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon his teeth. Psalm 37 and 12. The wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. Yahweh shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. So we know that we've always been hated by other nations. We've always been hated by them. And it talks a lot about this, about us and the kingdom, a chapter in Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. We are scattered abroad amongst the heathens across the four corners of the earth, which is all around the world. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. And it reads in NLT, then at last the jealousy between Israel and Judah will end. Because right now, we're warring between nations. But in the kingdom, we won't be warring between nations, because we will know that those are our brothers. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. So the Edomites, which is the so-called white man, the Moabites, which is the so-called Chinese man, and the Ammonites, which is the so-called Japanese man, they will all be up under us. The Edomites are just gonna get it the worst, because they've done us the worst, especially Amalek. Let's go to James, or no. No. Salakia. All right, so it's time to turn that on. Is he the house of... Dang, I can't... I gotta think of it. So am I. And I'm gonna bring up another one. Okay. Here it is. Salakia. 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. And that's talking about us. The true nation of Israel. The true children of the Most High Power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Whenever it's talking in the Bible, it's talking about us. That's why it's on us to uphold and obey the law, statutes, and commandments. And I remember the elder brother that was talking about that yesterday at camp. He said these people don't have to abide by the book of the law, which is why they get to run around and do whatever they want, which is why the earth is polluted with so much wickedness. But we are held to a certain standard because this book was written for us. It wasn't written for them. Excuse me. James chapter 1, verse 1. James, a servant of the Most High Power and of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. So it's talking to us. Let me see if I can find. It's gonna be hard for me to find this one. Lord willing, it's not though. I believe this gotta be in here. I'll look it up. They will remember themselves in the land of their captivity. There it is. The water. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. Oh, I gotta go through the table of contents. Salakia. Thank you for bearing with me. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. For I knew that For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. So, the people who claim to be the true people claim that they've known themselves. They knew that they were the true people for however long. But it just clearly stated right here that it's a stiff-necked people. So whenever you tell a Jake that he's an Israelite, he wants to dispute it. He wants to deny it. He gets angry. We're so hard-headed. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. So we're in captivity right now. More and more Jakes are waking up. More and more prophetic things are happening in the world. And that's the reason why. Because more and more Jakes are waking up. Romans chapter 2, verse 17. Behold, thou art called a Jew, and rested in the law, and makest thy boast of the Most High power. You who call yourselves Jews, relying on the Most High Power's law, and you boast about your special relationship with Him. I gotta think of the words to say. It is a blessing. There we go. It is a blessing to know that you're an Israelite, which is why it brings joy. It brings you joy when you know this. It brings you even more joy when you do the work. When you're a doer of the word and not a hearer. When you're trying to live a righteous life, because we can't be righteous yet because we're not in the new covenant. But when you're trying to abide by the law, statutes, and commandments, it makes you feel a certain way. And to know that you were lied to for hundreds of thousands of years and that you've been oppressed, that makes you feel a certain way too. It brings rage and anger to your heart. But at the same time, knowing that you're an Israelite, it brings comfort. And I'll get that in a second after this. First Peter chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into marvelous light. And in the NLT, but you are not like that, for you are a chosen people, like Noah. And that's why the elders and apostles always say we're in the spiritual. Let me think. We are in the times of Noah. We're like in the times of Noah. Noah was a chosen person. He was chosen by the Most High Power because he stood out from his generation. He was seen as a righteous man. He was following by the law, statutes, and commandments. He wasn't living wicked like all the other niggas around him, which is why the Lord gave him mercy. You are royal priests, a holy nation, the Most High Power's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of the Most High Power For he called you out of darkness, out of the darkness into his wonderful light. You got to realize, many are called, but few are chosen. So the Lord didn't have to pick us. So he didn't have to choose us to wake up. That's why it's a blessing. And that's why you have to pray to stay awake, because some will fall asleep in the latter days. So you can't take this thing for granted. You have to be all in. That's why it's a blessing. And I said I was gonna get something. Let me think if I can remember. I'm not sure if I remember what I can't remember. I can't even remember what scripture I was about to bring up, Salakia, but I'll just keep moving forward. This will be the last one I'll bring it out because it's getting pretty long. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh the Most High Power. Yahweh the Most High Power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So we were the chosen people, man. You gotta, even though the Lord put the Spirit on you, you gotta stop denying. You gotta stop denying it. Like if you do the reading, it's clear as day in the reading that we're the chosen people. Keep denying it, man. The Lord got something for you, man. But I'm gonna close it off. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai Ba'ashem Akakodash. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And until next time, Shalom.